The Garden Report is brought to you by FanDuel, the exclusive wagering partner of the CLNS Media Network.
Hey, Bobby Manning here, Josue Pavon, Garden Report back in Boston for a long homestand here, and it's going to continue against the Pacers on Tuesday and first the Pelicans on Monday after the Celtics lost a blowout, an ugly one here, the Clippers to begin it, Josue. Injuries mounting. Kristaps Porzingis turned his ankle, the left one in Miami, and missed this loss. Joe Mazzulla gave an injury update before the game, said he doesn't expect it to be a long-term issue, but does that mean 2 games, 3 games, a week? It's obviously where that calf injury suffered went, and they're going to be super cautious with it. We didn't get a chance to talk to him tonight, but I'd imagine he's going to miss at least one, if not both, of those back-to-back games. Kornet left this loss with a hamstring injury, did not return. So that's 2 bigs down there, and Horford's going to sit one of those back-to-back games as he has since he came back to Boston here. So you got Neemias Kada, you got O'Shea Brissett to go small. Lamar Stevens started game 2 in a similar situation earlier this year. So you're not dead in terms of depth here, but it's going to be difficult against 2 good teams that have forceful, big front courts, Siakam and Turner in Indy, and Zion and Valanciunas in New Orleans.
It's Kada time, Bobby. I think it's Kada time for sure, until he gets into foul trouble, and then they're going to have to go small. That's how I see this thing breaking down. I mean, assuming Al Horford is probably going to sit in the front end of that back-to-back, if the Celtics want to line him up to play in the second night against a team like the Pacers, I would say that's what I mean by that this Monday matchup could be extended minutes for Kada, most likely extended minutes for Kada. And I like the thought of that. I want to see what it looks like, honestly, in terms of his rim protection, just sort of that rim resistance, I should say, is a better way to put it, which is essentially what Porzingis means to the defense. I'm not saying that he would bring it to that caliber. However, it's a great opportunity for him. And then guys like Brissett, when you do go small, I want to see what they look like against a team like the Pelicans, because on the defensive end of the floor, especially in the front court, the Celtics have to get this down to a science, how they are going to approach the defense without Kristaps Porzingis. Now, I know this is a short-term thing. I believe Joe Mazzulla when he says that. I don't think we're going to see Porzingis out for 4 straight games or 5 straight or something similar to what we saw the last stint. However, I think mentally it would be great to see these guys go out there and put together a win against the Pelicans team without him. I do think that this team is talented enough to pull that off, and I want to see what it looks like.
Yeah, Celtics now 10-3 without Porzingis in the lineup this year. +8 coming into this loss, so that's going to take a little bit of a hit, but they've had success without Porzingis on the floor this year. They figured it out. The depth's been good. Started Kornet in a game and won, and obviously you can win with Horford starting those games too. With both of them out, they've won there too. Right. Just a couple crunch time finishes, and now this one blowout where they shot poorly that they haven't been able to capitalize in those situations. So they have depth, they have versatility, they have a lot of different options that they can go to in those spots, but it's clearly different without Porzingis. I think especially in this game, you saw they couldn't get into their post-ups. The Clippers flattened them out when they went flat 5 out and switched everything. Not every team can do that, but the Pelicans and Pacers do have some, intriguing defensive approaches in terms of using the drop, in terms of using the run you off the line mentality for Indiana that could challenge the Celtics offense and, slow them down a little bit. And we've seen that's the key to getting the Celtics out of rhythm.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we saw Saturday night, essentially, from start to finish. So you wonder what kind of adjustments Joe Mazzulla is going to make, especially with his comments after the game saying that these guys missed shots. And championship caliber teams like the Celtics, they bounce back after performances like that. And Monday should be no different, especially when you're back here at TD Garden. But last video, Bobby, you did bring up a good point. I mean, coming out at the end of some of those road trips, sometimes you have a misleading feeling going into a game. Maybe even knowing that the team is coming on the second night of a back-to-back, you're sort of a bit more lax. But I mean, the Los Angeles Clippers taught this team a valuable lesson in the sense that you can't do that on any night, especially against a team like the Clippers that were really hungry for a win here. And I'm going to assume that you're going to see something similar from a team like the Pacers. And the Pelicans are going to give the Celtics challenges without Porzingis. So I want to see how they respond, and especially in their 2 stars, all NBA stars, in Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Let's see how they lead.
Yeah, he made a good point, too. They'll probably play Horford in that second half, given that it's an East matchup, given that it's a potential series-tying game for the Pacers, who did add Siakam, who haven't had a lot of success since he joined that team. But in both situations, you're playing teams that play two bigs effectively, and the Celtics can't do that down multiple bigs. So they're going to have to outshoot those teams, outskill, outrun some bigger teams there when you consider Siakam joining Indiana and Zion, who... It's finally the first time I'm going to see him. Have you seen him live yet? You've been down in New Orleans, right, a couple times?
Yeah, I have actually. The first time I saw him, unfortunately, was the day we learned Kobe Bryant had passed. So I was in New Orleans, but I want to say that was the last time. Yeah, because he missed it. Yeah, I haven't seen him since. So yeah, it's been 4 years.
Last 2 years they came here.
I haven't seen him live since. Yeah.
2021 he played. That's the only career game he has at Boston.
The other times I've seen him, he was in street clothes. Yeah, you're right. I haven't seen him play live since 2020.
Yeah, and I haven't seen him. 2019 he came to Syracuse. It was the game after he tore through the shoe, so he missed.
That's the last time you saw him. Oh, that was the last opportunity you had a chance to see him. Wow.
Yeah, and then he missed the last two here in Boston. So it'll be interesting to watch him. He's playing better. They're playing better. They've been a pretty competitive team the last couple of years, so always an interesting matchup between the Celtics and some of these West teams, and that continues on Monday. We'll be back here with coverage. Josue Pavon, Bobby Manning. Check out Celtics All Access to see a recap of this Clippers game. Did it concern you how this one went? And then check out all the post-game reaction on CLNS Media. For Josue, I'm Bobby Manning. This has been The Garden Report.
Go to HelloFresh.com/CLNSFree and use the code CLNSFree for free breakfast for life. That's one breakfast item per box while subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/CLNSFree with code CLNSFree.